Good day and welcome to this first segment of this week's A Week at the Plot. It's Tuesday afternoon and I wasn't down here yesterday, so this is the first time I've been down this week, and I've just come down really to do some watering. And I have used my watering can. I'm going to move that because it looks a bit like a Dalek. So I've watered the radish here and there are various things that I need to water. But yeah, this is my first visit down this week. I was down here on Sunday. I was just so exhausted, and I'm still rather exhausted with the big opening night event that we had at For Earth's Sake, or the Great Green Barn, on Saturday. So on Sunday I just came down here to do a little bit of watering and have some quiet time. But then I looked at the flower border bed and its grasses, and I thought, Paul, you need to do something about that. So I'll show you what I did do in a minute. But I'm down here now just to do some watering. It started raining when I left the house. I'm not sure if you can hear a pattering on the polytunnel, but it is raining out there. But I think it's not heavy enough that I won't be able to get out and show you what I did with the flower border bed. I mean, it's not amazing, but it is. I'm pleased with what I did. But I've been looking at the radish here again, and I've been reading the comments on the latest upload of A Week at the Plot on YouTube, and I feel in good company, as I said, I think last week, with the people who say they can't grow radish. I thought I was one of very few people who couldn't grow radish, but it seems there's many of us out there. So I think we might give the Can't Grow Radish Club a whirl. They're really leafing up, but they don't seem to be bulking up, these. Oh, I just don't know. I just don't know. Is it just one crop that, well, along with several others, that I can't grow? I'm not sure. I think some of them are beginning to thicken a little, but they're a globe variety, and certainly no globes seem to be developing on what is down here. Let's just have a quick look amidst the leaves. This first row is the one that certainly has most leaf on it. And if we come in here, let's go in down there. Can you see those? I mean, let me go that way. These in the middle are just sort of growing so slowly. Come up here, we had one that was beginning to bulk up. I think it was this one here. But I mean, look. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to be the founding member of the Can't Grow Radish Club. Everything seems to be just growing so slowly anyway this year. Maybe I just need to give them more time. That's what some of you I know have said, but considering that radish is one of the quickest growing crops, which is why we suggest it for young children, you know, so that they can see a result very quickly. What am I doing wrong? Anyway, it's still spattering a bit with rain outside, but let's have a look at that flower border bed. Still quite a mess, but at least I've got all of the long grass that was going to seed. If I hadn't taken it out, it would have matured, I think, within the week, and the seed would have fallen. So I got in here and I got down on my hands and knees with my kneeler and with my gloves and a big trug, and just pulled as much grass out as possible. There's still plenty, you can see here, this tuft of grass here, that will need to come out because this will just regrow. It's been cut back or pulled back with my hand. So that and that and that, you know, there's lots of weeding here to do, but at least I have reduced the amount of grass seeds that would disperse from this patch. Even though there's grass in this patch here, which has become really overgrown, considering there were no weeds in here this earlier this year. There's a few I can see, look, there's that one there, so I need to pull that. But I pulled the grasses there, I pulled some grasses here. I need to get in here and pull these grasses. There's an artichoke developing there. Yeah, but those are jobs for later in the week. Then I came over here, and what I'm going to have to do is sort of snip these ones of seed off because of the amount of frogs in this area. So I will do that with secateurs. It's not going to be sort of too arduous a job. And all of these bamboos here, oh, I can get rid of these now. These are the seeds, some seeds still left here of this rhubarb. It's not a great rhubarb, it doesn't taste wonderful, but I do love its sort of majestic quality and the fact that it helps shade this area when in full leaf. And then these bamboos, they're actually for our neighbour, or our ex-neighbours just next door to me here, because they're going to be collecting those later this month. So I just put them here, or the new plot neighbour next to me put them here over the past couple of days, so I need to find a spot for them to go away, but that's for another day. Much tidying to do. I'm loving this sort of structural element of this chicory. But if we come over here, you may remember that we had a lot of our tomatoes eaten, and the ones that are in here are still sort of pretty weak, but I can see that they are strengthening. As I said before, I'm putting much of our growing year down to, or our poor growth rates and germination rates this year, down to compost. I can't see any beans coming through yet. Those were sown back end of last week. So we've got 3 rows, but I can't see any coming through. Not yet. They usually come through pretty quickly, but I can't see any at the moment. But what I am enjoying is these sort of little spots of colour here, from the marigolds, from the lychnis, from the chamomile, and from some of the wild plants that are coming up there. Lots of tidying to do, but what I do want to do now, and I'm going to get on with, is get these lettuce in here into this bed. And I will be using a judicious sprinkling of pellets as well. Where there's a weed like here, I'll obviously take it out. Where there's a carrot like there and there, I'll leave that in, but I think there's plenty of room to put lettuce in here. So that's what I'm going to get on and do now, just digging a hole and putting them in. In fact, I think I might put them in sort of along here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's 14 of our own save seed lettuce in, and that green one was the last remaining plant from that trio of lettuce I bought at Lidl. One died off quite quickly, the other one was doing well and then just died off overnight. I think we got a really cold spell just overnight and it died off, and this one that you see here is the last remaining one. Yeah, and I've just come across something else which I'm going to show you, which has completely taken me by surprise. My below ground pond here, upturned compost bin pond, is completely dry, and a month ago that was full and had frogs in it, and I'd let the grass grow, and I think in doing that the grass actually stopped water getting in. So this is all the grass that I've pulled out, and it had actually grown right into the bottom. You can see that sort of taken on the shape and the indentations of the upturned compost bin lid. My own fault. So yeah, which is most probably why these sunflowers have been so eaten, because slugs were most probably in here, not being eaten by frogs. Anyway, yeah, my fault. Glad to have got the lettuce in, that's super. It's off and on rain at the moment, and I gave them a really good water as soon as I planted them. Then I waited about another 20 minutes and I gave them another good water, and in that 20 minutes that's when I was sort of just looking around, and I thought, oh, I'm going to pull the grasses in that pond to stop them going to seed. Little did I know that the pond was no longer a pond but a dry upturned compost bin. I was sure there were still frogs in there. I haven't looked through the grasses to see over the last month or so, but I think what has happened is the pond has just dried out. Skanky frog is where skanky frog usually is, underneath the tarpaulin and underneath the lavender, in a rather sort of skanky area of water, and he's been joined by a few other friends there as well. So I think they have left the dry upturned compost bin lid pond for the skanky water pond. And in fact the skanky water pond's not so skanky as normal either. I was amazed when I woke up. I'm rambling now, I know, but I'm going to ramble. I was amazed when I woke up this morning and read the news that May had been one of the milder months on record, one of the mildest Mays on record, because as you know, if you watch A Week at the Plot and Sunday Chat, we have been talking all month about how, particularly at night, the nighttime temperatures have been really cold, and how we felt cold, and how coldness seems to have stunted growth at the allotment this year, and that the days of sunshine that we've had have been lovely, but there have been many cold days. And then the temperature, the median temperature, turns out to have been above average, which is really odd, you know, really odd. I read that with some surprise. What I also read with some surprise is that in terms of wetness of months of May 2024 is nowhere near record levels, because certainly I have felt that May has been a really wet, rainy month. You know, only last week I was planting out the beans and giving them a water, and by the time I'd finished watering I was drenched because it was absolutely chucking it down. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the meteorologists are wrong, because they won't be. They have their stats and all of that, so they will be right. But it just goes to show how very often something may feel cold or feel wet and actually not be, which is you know, is a truism and is also pretty odd at the same time. Anyway, there we are. And where are we now? We're in meteorological summer. It's now the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of June. Summer started 4 days ago on the 1st of June. I've only turned the calendar today. I did think about doing it on Sunday, but no, I thought I'll do it next time I do some filming. So there we are. We have turned the calendar from May into June and from spring into summer, and the skies are grey, it's raining, weeds and everything are growing really well. Everything else, funny old year. I was saying to Vivi earlier, you know, she was saying, do we say this every single year? And I said, you know what, I think we do say things sort of every year that it's a challenging year, but this year seems to be particularly so. And around the globe as well, because I know Australian and American subscribers and Canadian and Norwegian and Danish, you know, Belgian, throughout the globe there seems to be issues with growing this year, which causes the climate crisis that we find ourselves in, which I know so many people don't believe in, but yeah, just because you don't believe in something, it doesn't make it untrue. Right, I'm going to go, because I will just ramble and ramble and ramble. I will see you again later in the week for further segments of A Week at the Plot. See you then. Bye. Oh, I want to show you. Oh no, that will be later in the week. Yeah. Bye. Good day. We're at Kew Gardens. That's Richard up there by the Italian garden. He's got his hat on, sensibly. I don't. It's gorgeous. The colours up there are absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you're not the centre of this. The grasses are.
I felt like I was on an old cine film. That's what people used to do, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh. So this is usually where they have the tulips in the spring, obviously, and as you can see, it's just a under planting of various grasses going to seed at the moment. So maybe my allotment isn't too away from horticultural splendour. Oh, I don't know if you can see in there. If I stand up here a bit, is there a poppy? Can you see that poppy in there? I'm not sure if you can. A single poppy. The day after D-Day as well. But yeah, it's look at the light. Most of it doesn't come out very well. And the Italian garden, Richard will show photos of that on PV and Facebook later, I'm sure. And also I found the name of a plant given to me by our plot neighbours, or our ex-plot neighbours. Oh, and look, I found a pathway. You can go into the grasses. Actually, I can see a few more poppies over there. The only thing with Kew is it is on the landing path for Heathrow. So whilst Kew is on the landing path, our allotments are on the what was I saying? Takeoff path, or one of the 7 takeoff paths. There's a little poppy down there just hiding, and then over here are more poppies there. And then you come over here. Oh, there's a huge fig there, look at that. And then this is the beauty of Kew, or many botanic gardens. You suddenly find a walkway going off at an angle, and then you take it. And you find yourself in a very different place. Still the end of the Italian garden over there, as you might be able to see. Can I zoom in over there? Those olives over there. But yeah, people working over there. It's early, it's about 9 o'clock. So we came early. Oh, and look, there's a hole up there in that tree. I wonder if a woodpecker was pecking at that hole at some point. Anyway, we're going to carry on. Oh, there's the fig. We're going to carry on with our... Oh, I'm flaring at you. Oh, everything's flaring, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to carry on. I'll see you later at the plot. At the plot now, and on top of our hexagonal compost bin is this plant, which I got from our next door neighbours over here before they left, because I just always loved it. And it's Libertia sessiflora, and it's from Chile apparently. And can we get in there? I mean, I'm not sure if you can see that, but lovely, lovely flowers. I love the sort of blades of the flowers. It's glorious. So yeah, that's I found out the name of that at Kew this morning, which is lovely. And look at our white roses, which are being rather battered in the breezes that we're having. But oh, smells glorious, absolutely glorious. But I am going to cut this down this year, because I want it's too above head height. Anyway, some nettles still left there, though I did cut many back, and some have blown over there, I can see. But what I wanted to show you earlier in the week was our basil. So we sowed basil. We sowed it as a seed disc and as seeds, and we also split some that we bought from Lidl. We did get germination in the seeds. The round ones were the seed discs. The square ones at the front here were just seeds. And I put the perlite on top because I thought things were drying out. And you know what? Despite that, everything has died. If I come over here, these front 6 were from a plant at Lidl that I bought. One of the plants has died, but the others are doing okay and smelling rather glorious. And I took cuttings from the top, and these are the cuttings. And if I lift these up, look at those roots. So these, oh, they smell glorious. These I think are going to do okay. I'm wondering what I do with them now, because I mean, can they grow on like that? I guess they can. Will they be too close, or should I put them into troughs? I was thinking of putting them into troughs and then putting them down here. But I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. Though I have to say the smell in here of basil is just rather fabulous. It really is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today. And hopefully you can hopefully you can appreciate the smell of basil in the greenhouse. And hopefully you enjoyed that little visit to Kew as well. And Richard, of course, will have even more in his vlogs. Okay, I'm leaving it there. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. It's Saturday afternoon. I've only been down here about 10 minutes. I've just been having a little wander about, looking particularly at two things. Firstly, the radish down here, which 95% are like that. Maybe 3% are nothing. 2% are like that. I've tried one like this and one like this, and they're both as woody as hell. And there's a lot of leaf here, you can see, and I can see here that flowers are forming, so these are going to bolt. So I think I'm going to take these out and put them into the compost, because I'd rather get something else in there. Though also, to be honest, I don't really have anything else to go in there at the moment, but I might just sow some further lettuce seeds direct. I think that would be the sensible thing to do. The other thing that I was looking at was our beans, our dwarf beans. We're only growing dwarf beans so far this year. And in fact, I think we might only grow dwarf beans this year. I'll come on to why shortly. I'm pleased to see some germination in our borlotti. Also in our flat French beans, I can see some germination just breaking through the top layer of the soil. Nothing yet in the rock and core, but I hope obviously that they will do, and they will do well. So let's go and have a quick look at those. But before I do, let me jump back in time yesterday, a bit of time travel. I was watering. I'd done my segment for the day, and I was watering, and I got back to the water butt, and this is what I saw. Got Georgie here drinking from the water tap. Now that is a sight I've never ever seen. I mean, our cats used to drink from the kitchen tap, but I mean, this is just, I mean, look how he's balanced there. Oh dearie me. What are you doing, Georgie? What are you doing? Because I'm having a bloody good drink. That's what I'm doing. And our water, we're very lucky that our water is drinkable here. And Georgie is really enjoying that. I could put the lid on for you if that would be easier. Look at him. He's just lapping that up. Honestly. I need to dunk my oh, he's got it all over his face. I need to dunk my watering can, Georgie. Honestly. Come on. Come on. I think I'm going to move him before he falls in. At the tomato and bean bed now, and as you know, many of our tomatoes have been eaten. Look at them over there. But here, where is it? I did see, look there, bit of germination of borlotti there. And then if we come over, there's one there, there's one that is absolutely out of the ground. So we do have germination there in the borlotti. I did see, I don't think I can see it from this angle, but in the middle of our in the middle are our flat French beans, and I did see one just touching through the surface, but I can't see it now. And then along here is Rockencore, and I can't see anything in that section yet, so fingers crossed. But I'm pleased to see that at least we've got some germination going on in our beans, which is fabulous, really is. We're now at our courgettes and cucumbers, and these are the courgettes. You can see flowers beginning to form on there and on here. So I really need to get them in. The cucumbers are this side, but they're just, again, so weak, really so weak. But they are, so, you know, we make the most of what we can. And then in here, this is where our brassicas are. And even up here, some of our brassicas have been got. These are, I think, dazzling blue kale. Yeah, so they're dazzling blue kale here. And these are Portuguese cabbage and dazzling blue kale crosses. And then we've got some others. So I'm going to be putting those in at some point, maybe tomorrow. So that might happen off camera, because I do want to get this bed here planted up. And then if I can get round to it tomorrow, I'll also be looking at these beds up here, and these I think are going to be where our courgettes and our cucumbers are going to go in. Obviously I'll need to move those bamboos, but yeah, that's where they're going to go, and I'm going to put them in tomorrow. And all I'll be doing is digging a hole, making sure that I dig deeper than the depth that I'm going to plant, to make sure that the roots, when the plant goes in, the roots have got some decent loose soil to go into rather than compacted soil. I don't think we've got any compacted soil in these beds, but I just want to make sure about that. So yeah, that will happen off camera. Here are our other brassicas. Oh, lovely green butterfly, lime green butterfly. Yeah, time for these all to go in, definitely. I've come into this shed and shut the door because the music is quite loud out there at the moment, and I'm hoping in here you won't be able to hear it quite so much. I did come to what was, I had not a eureka moment, I had a acceptance moment yesterday, I think it's fair to say. You know, I've mentioned that so many of us are struggling this year, and yesterday, I don't know what it was, but I was down here doing something and I suddenly thought, Paul, just go with the flow this year. Just go with the flow. Tidy the plot where you can, plant out what you can, sow what you can. But if things don't come to fruition, just carry on and get the plot prepared for the winter and for next year. You know, pull those grasses, and that's what I've been doing yesterday, pulling the tops of the grasses off so that those seeds don't have a chance to mature and then sort of fall off and then of course germinate. So I've been doing that on the plot, and I've done pretty well. There's so many fewer grasses going to seed on the plot than there were this time last week or this time at the beginning of the week. Unfortunately, the guy behind me who's taken on the plot, I think we're going to need to give him a nudge, because there's lots of grasses going to seed on his plot, on his half plot. And of course what will happen is those will come to maturity and the wind will blow them over here and we'll have to cope with more over here. So I think we're going to have to give him a nudge to come down, at least take off the tops of the grass, even if he doesn't have time to continue with the plot. But yeah, it was quite a lovely acceptance moment. I just thought, Paul, you know, and then I thought to myself, what am I going to do with a week at the plot if I'm, you know, if I don't do X and I don't do Y? you know what? It will still be a week at the plot, because it will be my week at the plot, and it will be as honest as the past. Oh, how many? 3.5 years, or maybe it's longer. I can't remember now. Was it 220 we started? I think it must be. So, you know, it's what I do on the plot each week, a week at the plot, and what you'll get from me is you'll get honesty about what goes on here, and what, you know, what works and what doesn't. You know, I'm still wanting to get that pathway in at the front of the greenhouse, but headspace and all of that has been really challenging for so many of us over the past couple of months, and I'm not beating myself up about things. You know, I'm going with the flow, and I think we all, there's a message in what I am going to be doing, I hope, for all of us. You know, go with the flow, and where you can, you know, have a go and you can improve things and try and get ahead, do that. You know, I thought I was so well ahead at the beginning of the year, and I was. And there's been that, you know, a little bit of, oh, you know, things aren't growing well, they're not germinating well, they're not growing fast enough, they're growing so slowly. And I think that brings about frustration and discontentment and disappointment, actually, more than anything. Frustration and disappointment, maybe. But I'm not going to let that get to me. I had such a good time pulling grasses yesterday. I mean, you know, that sounds ridiculous, but I did. And I did some strimming as well, and that was good. So yeah, what I'm going to do is just take you along with what I do week by week in a week at the plot. I've done it for the past, well, I don't know how many episodes, and I'm going to continue doing it for some more. How many more, who knows, but yeah, for some more. And I'm not going to beat myself up about things not happening as I might want them to. I'm back. There was a knock on my door. Are you in there? Oh no, what would have happened if I'd have gone, no, I'm not? What would have happened? Oh, there. Hey ho. So yes, over the coming days, I'm going to get some of those brassicas in. I'm going to get our courgettes and our squash in, and I'm just going to get on and do things. And if they work out, fabulous. If they don't, on to something else on the plot. Right, I am going to go and leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. Whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope it's going well, and I hope if it's not going well, you're going to do the same as me and go, you know what, that hasn't quite worked, but I'm going to try something else, or I'm going to get on and do something else. Because really getting out in the, you know, the fresh air, if you're as fortunate as us, where we live in a really, you know, the air where we live is really good quality air, and it's nice to get out there in the sun or in the rain and just have time outside. So yeah, if you have time to do that, I hope you're going to enjoy it. I will see you next week on Planet Vegetaria for further segments of A Week at the Plot as we go through the week, and of course in a week's time there will be another full upload on YouTube. Whatever happens in the coming week, happy growing. Bye.